Hello, everybody. Thank you for returning to our YouTube channel. And I am here with James from the Birds of Fury. And as you know, we are partnered with them. I am Technology United for Ukraine. This is James from the Birds of Fury. We are now officially partnered with the Ukrainian Armed Forces with their unit, which is a Ukrainian military R&D unit, and we work with them to create innovative technologies. So if you would like to help the Ukrainian Armed Forces create innovative technologies, there's a link in the description. Go over there if you're an engineer, scientist, technologist, somebody who wants to help James out with fundraising, especially with fiber optic drones. Go in there, put your name, sign up, and we look for everybody's help in social media. James, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so thank you all for coming. If you go to whyukraine.com, you'll see the most recent innovation fundraisers that we're running here in our partnership with Technology for Ukraine. Obviously, we can't give you all the details about what we're doing, but if you'd like to help us keep one step ahead of the orcs here in Ukraine in terms of technology, every little bit helps, even a freaking dollar. So we've got fundraisers for the plastic, because we need a 3D printer plastic. Oh, I have the reels sitting over there. 3D printer plastic for building these fiber optic drones, which are incredibly important right now. Other things that we're doing to build, our main focus is on fixed wing drones, and we're working on new fixed wing bomber drones that go behind enemy lines, penetrate through radar and electronic warfare as far as 55 kilometers behind enemy lines. And if you'd like to help with that, you can go on whyukraine.com and check that out. And one thing that we're working on that's brand new is, a big problem is GPS spoofing. If you don't know what that is, it's where you make the GPS think it's in a different place. And we do it to the Russians do it to us, and we have to fix the problem. We have to do something about this, and we have to solve that problem before the Russians do. So we have a plan for that, and if you'd like to help us do that, you can. We can't give you all the details, but you can actually, every little dollar helps. You'll see it on the webpage, whyukraine.com. So let's talk about some of the crazy drone stuff that's happening here in Ukraine, shall we? You want to share your screen? There we go. Yeah. So, I've said that this drone situation is just like a cat and mouse game, and I believe it's Magyar's Birds are the guys who are working on. I mean, they're basically using radar, and radar is sophisticated enough now to detect even something as small as a drone. And then they try to intercept that. That's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to do. So the deal, if you guys don't know what the fiber optic drones are, I had to explain it to a Ukrainian today. What's going on with fiber optic drones? Fiber optic networks here are very common. I have fiber optic here in my apartment building here in Ukraine. Gigabit to the desktop is very common and very cheap, incredibly cheap here. So a roll of fiber can be, let's say between 10 and 30 kilometers. Okay. And so what these fiber optic drones do is they just carry a spool. Hang on, let me grab a spool over here.
Like this here. Here's a back of the cone.
This is
the rear end here and where the
Yeah,
spool
yeah.
is in here.
Right. So this is a spool for 3D printer plastic. Okay, but the concept is the same. Okay, the fiber can be, 30 kilometers. I've even seen some 50 kilometers. And it falls out behind the drone as the drone flies along. So it can get tangled up in things, but that doesn't really matter too much. The wind can blow it around, which, maybe you have 10, if you have 10 kilometers, a lot of that might get wasted. So you don't have that full range. But what it allows you to do is get around electronic warfare, electronic interference. And both Ukrainians and Russians are using electronic interference now. And that is why these fiber optic drones are a necessity. But so now, how do you stop fiber optic drones? Well, now you're back to you got to take a step back to the old technology, and you're using you're using radar, with pretty sophisticated radar though, to pick up something that small, right? It's literally not much bigger than an actual bird, So but flying at 100 miles an hour, maybe at least maybe 50, 60, 70, up to about 100 miles an hour for these fiber optic drones. So now then they have to have the interceptors. How are they going to intercept these drones? And that is something that we are also working on. At the same time, we're developing more sophisticated fiber optic drones. We also have to. So on the next tab, I think we'll see some on the Radical Solutions tab there, Brian. Yeah, there you go. So no, damn, the next one. that's the next one I'm going to talk about. There we go. Okay, so drones are now launching drones to attack other drones, right, in Ukraine. So like, for example, my unit deploys fixed wing drones that are a couple of meters, maybe 2-3 meters wingspan, and those can potentially carry smaller interceptor drones. So if you imagine, and what you see in this little picture here in that screenshot is an interceptor drone flying above a Russian drone that is meant to be intercepted. And there's a couple of ways they can do that interception. There's direct, kinetic targeting, literally knocking it out of the sky at 200 miles an hour. And there's proximity detonation, which works a lot like, flak, what have you. Now the Shaheeds, for example, have maybe not AI, but enough intelligence to take basic evasive maneuvers when they detect another drone in a certain proximity. Yeah. And this is a thing. This has been around for a couple of months now. So these drones, and maybe we can look at the next tab over, Ukraine's Sting drone. We happen to know that this is not the only company making these drones. Some people call it the flying dildo.
Yeah.
But it's basically it's got a camera on the front, and they're made as lightweight as possible. They don't usually have as much range as a normal surface to surface drone. And to be honest, I mean, a lot of the testing so far has been of these being ground launched, but it's very, very quickly, I think they're going to be launched from other drones.
And I've seen them. I've seen one drop from a mothership on a Reddit, on a Reddit page.
Yeah.
And just so people know, we first develop these. These were many, 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 many months ago. We're the
Yep.
ones who brought this concept into Ukraine.
Yep. The dildo of consequence.
That's what the Ukrainians call it.
So yeah, like, it's just this constant cat and mouse game that that is being played out here in Ukraine. And the thing that I don't think that Americans are thinking about, because they think that this is happening in Ukraine and it's not happening in America. Well, guess what? The chickens are going to come home to roost. Okay. And the simple fact of the matter is that, anybody in America could build one of these damn things.
Yeah.
Well, we are all worried about some guy with an AR-15 or whatever. What happens when we got some nerd, with the dildo of consequence? I mean, we already had the drones in New Jersey, is what I mean. I'm just trying to build some relevance here for.
Well, you know
Americans.
what you're saying, James, is what I tell everybody is we built one of these. They go up 30,000 feet, roughly 350 kilometers an hour. And we made it with parts off of Amazon and some really clever software engineers. So we really need to think about what the future of threats can be.
Yeah. Well, I really think that, for example, in this recent situations in New Jersey and other places around the country where there's been these unauthorized drones, mysterious things, I think that we're going to start seeing these kinetic interceptor drones and launched from mothership drones. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Being deployed by police departments, okay, as a protective measure. Now, a lot of people will say, "Well, I could just use a shotgun." Not when they're beyond 300 meters, man. A drone can be 300 meters away. You're not even going to see it. You might not even hear it. Okay. You're not going to use a shotgun until it's right up on you. In America, cities, here in Ukraine, cities need to start using these things to protect themselves. But in America, cities are, police forces, I'm saying in 5 years, less than 5 years, every police force is going to have at least one task force of, the anti-drone task force, just to take down anybody flying unauthorized drones, because they will be considered potential threats. You can't look at a drone that's 300 meters away and know, is that thing carrying an explosive or not? The assumption is going to have to be that it is, unless it's in a very designated flight area for drones. That's what police departments in America are going to have to assume.
And James, this is the big thing with a 3D printer. A cell phone, you can take a cell phone, the technology in the air, compute, like you can find all the technologies you need to build something. If you're, a competent engineer, or, you have a team of people, maybe with not such good intentions.
Yep.
And now we need to start thinking of countermeasures today for the threats that will exist tomorrow. And we're hitting something that I don't think we're really addressing. We're not. People aren't foreseeing this issue, in the public, and we need to start thinking about what these threats will look like tomorrow.
Yeah, and I understand why. Who wants to think about this? You know what I mean?
Yep.
But we're already living in a world, at least in America, where we got all these crazies walking around doing all kinds of shootings for one reason or another, and it's just, this is the next. I'm not going to say logical step, but the next piece of that pattern, unfortunately. So, but here in Ukraine, we can go over. Let's go back to the radical solutions Yeah, there you go. So we don't want to have to do this in America, okay? This
Yeah.
is what the Russians are having to do, or trying to do. It's not that effective because basically they're putting up, so many meters tall fences, and then the trucks and what have you, or the donkeys now, have to drive only on this one specific road that's fenced in. Well, that's great for Ukrainian artillery.
Right.
That's fantastic. Now we know exactly where they're going to drive. We can go in there with our remote bombers and lay mines all up and down that road. It's great. Please do that, Russia. But you don't want to live like this in America. I hope. So, it was the time to start thinking about it is now. And it's just this constant cat and mouse game. And now, of course, if you go across over to the tab there, Brian, where it says five ground forces, yeah, there we go. This is one thing. Ukraine is really, really starting to get organized now, ramping up recruitment in the unmanned systems forces and in the drone force. And it's going to take a while to build confidence in Ukrainians because there's so many horror stories of some guy with whatever qualifications. He's a jet pilot, or he's a drone pilot, whatever, and he gets handed a shovel and sent to the trenches, and that has been the pattern for the past 3 years. Ukraine is actively trying to change that. If you scroll down a little bit here, so we can see this headline. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, large-scale recruitment. 5 drone systems unit of the ground forces have launched unprecedented recruitment campaign, inviting civilian service members from other branches, servicemen who have unlawfully left their military units, all of that. Now, so K2, Achilles, Warthog, Phoenix, Magyar's Birds Brigade. There was a major surge of recruits into the drone force last year when all of this was first set up and organized. My understanding of that is, unfortunately, the hiring was mostly just crap. In other words, they just sent whoever, and basically anybody who didn't want to actually fight went to the drone force regardless of their qualifications. So I've spoken to guys where they're like, yeah, half of the guys here, they can barely carry a shovel. You know what I mean? Much less fly a drone. So they put a stop to that. And that's the problem, though. Those people, they join the drone force. They're not qualified to be in the drone force. They have to get moved out to some other brigade, okay, wherever that is. But so now that's getting fixed. So now these my unit actually had really good hiring practices for some reason, but the other battalions have had this problem, and it looks like now they've got that problem fixed, and all these guys like K2, Achilles, Magyar's Birds, now they're all under the umbrella of the drone force. It took a little while, but now we're going to see a lot of techie nerd guys who are hiding in their apartments in Kyiv, I think, are going to start to come out. But at the same time, on our next tab over, you'll see North Korea. Guess what? So North Korea is doing the same thing. Okay. And the problem with this is that Ukraine can't target these drone factories in North Korea. So what's this going to lead to, right? What is North Korea going to do with a whole bunch of drones and rocket technology that they're getting from Russia. Well, they're going to use it to attack South Korea without a doubt. No doubt about that. Right? What happens when North Korea attacks South Korea? South Korea responds. China gets involved. We get involved. We don't need Taiwan. You know, this is happening right here and right now. And, you know, not to get political about this, but we could have put a stop to this 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if we'd sent Ukraine all the weapons that they needed right at the beginning. You know, we wouldn't be in this place where we're like drones advancing fast. We could have defeated Russia with all of the extra stockpiles laying around the boneyard in Tucson, you know, or Sierra Army Depot or whatever, and be done with this stupid war. But now it's out of our hands. The cat is out of the bag.
Yeah, and the slow escalation too, right? Like, well, you can't use attack chems now. Well, now you can.
Yeah.
You know, now you have full ability to hit anything you want in Russia with any equipment. Like,
This is what I mean.
Weapons that should have been done before.
This is exactly what I mean. And you know, I mean, I understand why people are just afraid of nukes. Well, guess what? You know, your fear is actually making the problem worse, and has made the problem worse. And now, you know, things are spinning out of control. And I mean, all I can say is, I want to put myself right in the goddamn center of that hurricane. Is actually the safest place to be, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I mean, that's why my thing about, you know, why am I a network engineer? Is because when the AI becomes intelligent and tries to take over the world, I want to be there to pull the power cord. Okay, that's, you know, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, right? But if you know, as an American, don't stick your head in the ground and think that this is not something that can happen. So and let's take a look at the next tab in 2025. Yeah. So 200,000 drones per month. Okay. 200,000 drones per month. And that's not coming from like America. America's not making 200,000 drones per month. I mean, I hear countries like Estonia gave over like 7,000 drones or something. 200,000 drones per month are coming from every little mom and pop, used to be a cellular phone shop or whatever in a basement in Kyiv. And they're just sitting there. If you go on my YouTube channel, Why Ukraine, you'll see lots of videos of me working in some of these secret laboratories, just soldering antennas over and over and over. I did about 150 antennas an hour, you know, literally just totally boring and just chunking it out. And that's how it's getting done. It's the exact opposite of the Russian model, which is these, you know, big giant factories somewhere. Yeah,
it's very decentralized, really.
Totally for good and bad, you know, for good and bad. So the last thing I just want to end with is just kind of a funny, yeah. So look at the future, everybody. And this is something that you could probably make in your garage potentially.
That's terrifying. Somebody could make something like that. Oh.
Yeah. So, damn, bumped my microphone. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a fairly large version of it, and you know, it does. You know, it's a plasma cannon. You guys, is really what it is. Now, it does require. It's not like a giant lightsaber, exactly. It doesn't exactly work the same, but you know, I could see something like this taking out drones, especially fiber drones. You know, really. Imagine this thing swinging around, just like this. Just understand, this is where we're
It's
headed.
like a video game. It's
Yeah.
like one of those video games that they
Oh,
would be.
totally, totally. It literally looks like a freaking Gatling laser. You know, and the thing about it is that every time you say, the average American says, why do we have to send Ukraine anything, blah blah blah, so this doesn't come home to you, that's why. Okay, because if you don't help us, then we're going to do it ourselves, and eventually the chickens come home to roost. So think. Anyway, that's my rant over. We need let's bring up the Technology for Ukraine website, and you know, yeah, everybody, if you are especially what we need right now,
Here.
if you are a network engineer, okay, or a phone programmer, like assembly, full stack phone developer, we need you. We need those two people. Okay, network, even not network engineer, network administrator, wireless engineers. If you've worked for the cell phone company, I can't tell you what we're doing, but we're going to need you. Please volunteer if you want to help Ukraine. You know, you don't have a pile of cash laying around. Go on to Technology for Ukraine and volunteer. The second thing is, Brian, if you wouldn't mind bringing up whyukraine.com. Thanks. I should have said this before.
Nope, no worries.
Yeah, or the YouTube channel too.
Yeah, is that what you want me to do? The YouTube channel or
either one?
Okay.
Let's go YouTube channel first, and then look, it's my terrible, mediocre channel. This is my mediocre YouTube channel. But the most important thing is, if you click on the link that says whyukraine.com there, yeah, there we go. So this will take us to our donation page. And if people would like to directly donate to innovation, I just sent money to one of our engineers today, finally, to get the plastic for the 3D printers to print those fiber optic spools, the spool containers. So we should have, well, let's not give exact timelines, but these are the things that we need right now, guys. And if you can help, you're not just helping Ukraine, you're helping America. So
yes, you are.
Slava Ukraine.
Slava Ukraine, you hear him, Slava. All right. So you want me to close it out?
Yeah. Do pobачення, everybody.
And remember, go to either one of our websites to donate or join the cause. And we look for everybody, even social media people. We need to get the word out. They need people to help with the fundraiser. So please get on board. Let's make magic happen. And again, thank you for coming, everybody.
Дякую.